Welcome back to the Learn How to Call Games series with Jeff Dorsey. I'm Nora Baldner here at Quincy University, and we want to talk about analyst or color commentator. Now I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked for play-by-play. Okay. How, as a color commentator, how do you prepare, and how do you get what's in your brain to come out, as you're watching a game and working with your partner who's doing the play-by-play?
Okay, usually the color partner would, first of all, you sit down with whoever you're working with ahead of time, before you even go on the air. Say, here's what we got to get in on the broadcast. We've got to get our commercials in. So, if they're new to you and you haven't worked with this person before, it's vital that you get with them and talk about what you want to do. So everybody's on the same page. You don't want to be, what should I do now while you're doing the broadcast? So you go through that process in the beginning of it, and during the game itself, it's you as a play-by-play guy have got to basically shut up and give him or her the time to describe the play. Because if you keep talking and you rehash the play, there's no need for the color person to be there. So let them, use them. Use it as idle time for yourself to get yourself straight. That gives you time also, if you're not on television, to at least look through a stat sheet or something that you want to find out information on the batter or the football player. So use that time for you to your advantage. Let them go ahead and describe what just happened. Most of the time, there are people who are doing color are people who played the game. Not always, but these are, they know the game the ins and outs of the game. They can describe it better than I could. I never played basketball. Okay, I played some football. I played baseball. Those games I knew because I could give some insight to that. But in basketball, my color announcers that I worked with were vital. One of them was Phil Conover. I think a lot of people you know quite a bit about.
Exactly.
Phil was phenomenal. Phil was a coach in basketball, and he and I had such good chemistry. He knew exactly when I was going to stop talking, and he was prepared. There were no gaps between him speaking and after I stopped. He would jump right in. He would succinctly describe what just happened in a different way that I described it. He would say he made a good cut to his left where I didn't announce that. The game's too quick to announce that. But he would step in and say, his reversal of his hand of the layup made all the difference. He would re-describe the play.
So if play-by-play is descriptive, then color is interpretive?
Yes, very much so. They interpret why that happened.
Okay.
What made that play happen? Why did that guy catch that football in the end zone? Why was he wide open? And the color announcer basically should be looking at other things on the court too. Besides, I'm usually, as a play-by-play guy, following the ball. That's pretty much where everything happens in a game anyway. But why did that ball not get caught in the outfield? Why did that touchdown happen with nobody guarding him? Because the guy fell down. I may not have seen that, but Phil, and I use Phil as an example, but the color announcer might have seen it. And he would describe, well, he made a cut to his left and the defender fell down and I didn't pick that up. That's all part of the good broadcast. Describes why he was so wide open. Why is it a 7-0 lead now? So things like that. The color announcer is really vital. You don't want a color announcer just going to sit there and say, he really hit that ball hard and it went over the left field wall. I just described that.
Right. Or he sure did.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
she sure did.
Yeah, you don't want the three-word answers.
Right.
There's not enough time for me to drink at that point.
Right. You're like, wait. Now the analyst can also, you just said, maybe describe what's happening in the gym or on the field or in the stands.
Yep.
The crowd is going wild. There's a big crowd today. The weather is such and such, right? You can paint that visual picture while play-by-play is getting their drink of water or getting ready. Or if there's a pause in the action, then the color takes over, gives you a break, kind of, right?
Well, yeah, and then even while the action's still going on, the color announcer can be looking at other things. I mean, I can be watching a pitcher struggle on the mound, and he's just given up 2 home runs and 4 runs in the inning, and he can notice down the bullpen they're starting to stir in the bullpen. I'm not looking down that way.
Sure.
I'm looking out on the field. He's looking over there, and he can say, "Well, we got 2 righty and a lefty warming up in the bullpen." That's important to know because, and then where again we go back to a previous conversation. I can sit there and say, well, they might bring the lefty in because there's 2 left-handed batters coming because I can see that in my sheets. And that all ties together. So, and that takes time. It takes a lot of time to develop that.
Do you also, I'm thinking of you and Phil Conover, two male voices that could sound similar. I mean, once we listen to you, we understand who's who. But do you say each other's names a lot? Because sometimes if you have two male voices, two female voices, you can lose who's speaking.
Yeah, probably don't do it. Probably don't do it often enough, but it should
Okay.
be done. I mean, there's a lot of people who watch a game on television or even listen on the radio, and you never hear who it is. You think it might be, who's the new guy?
Right.
And you'll go innings or a whole period in football without announcing who it is. And well, that guy's pretty good, but who is he?
Right.
And it, just for your own professional status and what you're trying to do, you probably throw your name out there. It doesn't hurt a thing, I mean, I threw my name out. That's how I got in the radio business, believe it or not. I was supposed to be the color announcer, but the play-by-play announcer, one of my best friends in the Kansas City area, he became ill, and then they asked me if I could do the game. I go, well, yeah, I never did it, but I will do it. I knew enough about the game, and I followed the play-by-play for him enough that I jumped in and did it. Well, it just so happened to be the gentleman from here, Gary Schmedding, who used to work at Channel 7, was over in the Kansas City area and heard the radio broadcast. He was looking for a play-by-play announcer on a Friday night football games. Figured he could get something, see who might be out. He heard my voice doing that game, the very first game I ever did.
Serendipitous.
Yeah.
There it was.
As a play-by-play.
And so you saying your name, he remembered
remembered
that,
it.
tracked you down.
And he tracked me down at
The
the
rest is
station,
history.
and that's how I got it. Yeah, little things like that. And it doesn't hurt to put your name out there.
Right.
Be proud of what you're doing.